Hi, this is Gizmo7 and welcome back. Today we have got you my final gameplay for Modern Warfare 3. It is with the sexy gold Spaz 12. It was my favourite weapon in this game, so I had to kind of finish with this weapon. It's not the best MOAB in the world, but what are you going to do? Yes, anyway, this video is about my final thoughts on Modern Warfare 3. I will be honest, it's not the final Modern Warfare 3 video you'll get. If you watched my last video, you'll know what else is coming, but if you haven't, go and watch it and you will know. So yeah. My final thoughts on this game. The good things about it was Death Chat I thought was priceless. Specialist always kept it fresh, and the MOAB was good fun to go for. Unfortunately the MOAB is in the con list as well, mainly for the fact that it just inspired camping, and I hate camping. I didn't really cover Death Chat particularly well, did I? Death Chat I loved. I love listening to people rage. It's always funny, and I know everyone else does as well. And I'm glad they've brought that back in Black Ops 2, which is a good thing. Next thing I want to talk about was the bad things. Unfortunately, we've gone through the only 3 good things I could actually think about of this game. The next thing was connection. Connection is bad. It's probably the worst connection I've played on in a Call of Duty game. Black Ops was bad when it first started out, but they patched it and it was good. Well, not amazing, but it was good. You had one person who was on an advantage, which was the host, and I think that wasn't that bad. You had one player you struggled to kill, but everyone else you were on an equal playing field with. I suppose in some respects you were on an equal playing field on this game. Everyone had a shit time, but it wasn't equal all the way. Some people get lag compensated when other people weren't, so it was a bad idea. I don't know why they can't just bring in dedicated servers. They make more money than every other game company in the world, yet refuse to put in the simple thing of dedicated servers, which is annoying as hell. But what are you going to do? Unfortunately that's the way this game was. Next thing was the maps. Maps I really didn't like in this game. There were about 2 maps I actually enjoyed playing, which was Seatown and Bootleg. Everything else was a chore to play. Every single map was it was exactly the same. It had 3 routes around the map and there was no way of escaping out of spawn traps. The worst map was Interchange, I think, just because how bad it was. There was 3 points. You could get trapped in A spawn so easily, and for some reason they had to change the whole spawning system in Call of Duty. On every other domination, in every other Call of Duty, you spawn behind your home flag. Interchange, they had to change that. Don't know why. Why change something that isn't broken? Beyond me. Next thing was the spawns. Spawns, wow. I don't really need to say anything more than spawns. Jeez, they were bad, weren't they? The amount of times you'll spawn literally next to someone, or they'll spawn 2 people next to each other on opposite teams. It depends who moves first of who wins the gunfight, because you just wouldn't know that someone was spawning next to you. Really fucking crap. Next thing, guns. Guns balancing was not brilliant, especially to start out with. Look at the shotguns when you first started out. Without extended mags and damage, they were so bad. Look how bad the KSG was. I mean, admittedly they patched it and they are more usable now, but even so, they are severely underpowered, and there's probably more reason why I enjoy running around with them, because they're not the most powerful thing in the game. But yes, and then the worst thing I think about the weapons was the secondaries. A secondary, okay, you can have a launcher in it. You shouldn't have RPGs and a SMOR. I don't think you should have a launcher that fires at the ground. Why do you need anti-tank weapons? There are no vehicles, yeah, always kind of bugged me that. Especially if you're going to make things like blast shields so weak. Why put something in that can kill explosives are so powerful? And the rest of the secondaries, you shouldn't have machine pistols as secondaries, especially with like the MP9 and the FMG9s. They are so strong. You can shoot people across the map with them. FMG's nice, not quite across the map. The MP9 was the one across the map. I think, as we have here, I am just about to shoot someone across the map with an MP9. In a pretty small amount of bullets as well, which is stupid. You shouldn't have a secondary that does that. I mean, obviously I'm not going to use it because everyone else does, and it's silly not to. I don't want to be outplayed by someone using a better class than me. But yeah, it's silly. You shouldn't have a secondary that does that. Secondary is a last resort weapon. It's a pistol at most, I think. I've always felt that way, and I think Black Ops got it right. But yeah, and unfortunately, Modern Warfare games, since COD 4, have always put in overpowered secondaries, which I think is a stupid idea. Next thing was support, which is a really dumb idea. Support was a good idea. A concept, I suppose. Idea-wise, bad, because you shouldn't be rewarded for doing badly. And this also ties into death streaks as well, which I'll get into in a second. But you shouldn't be rewarded for doing something badly. You should be rewarded for doing something well. So if you die 10 times, you shouldn't be rewarded with a good kill streak. You could be rewarded with a bad kill streak. Like a UAV it was really underpowered in this game because Assassin was so overpowered. But yeah. because you had things like stealth bombers, which was probably, I'll be honest, one of the most powerful kill streaks in the game. The amount of times I'll see it come across, and pretty much every time it comes across, 9 times out of 10, it'll end up with a quad feed, or if it didn't end up with a quad feed, it usually end up killing the person who called it in, which is always funny, because I think that's just desserts. But yeah, it was silly, and I kind of think that it was a concept that was a good idea, was maybe an idea that was usable, because it kind of made it more accessible to everyone. Not everyone can get the high kill streaks, not everyone can get the mobs, the chopper gunners and things like that, so it makes it a bit more sort of user friendly for the bad players. But you shouldn't be rewarded for doing badly, which I'll get into with the death streaks in a second. And to put something that is powerful like an EMP or a stealth bomber in those classes, which completely destroys someone on the other team. You're doing well and someone calls an EMP, your assault streaks are useless. You can't call in your mobs, you can't see your red dot, you can't see your radar, you can't use all your equipment, and that person's died 20 times in the game. How is it fair that they ruin your whole game? Doesn't seem right. Next thing was patches. They just did badly with the patches. They did a huge step up from Modern Warfare 2, where they actually did do some sort of support with the game, so I'll give them props for that. But the patches they did just weren't very good. I'll go through them all, but you all know what they are, and they were just bad. Highlighting one, sit rep, made one perk completely useless. Dead silence is now the most useless perk in the game. Next thing, death streaks. You shouldn't be rewarded for doing badly. Nowhere in life are you rewarded for doing badly. In rugby or American football, if you do badly and you learn and you tackle someone badly, it hurts. And you learn fast not to tackle like that again, because you get hurt. So why should you, in a Call of Duty gameplay, get rewarded for doing badly? You just shouldn't. And I think that is one of the worst things in this game. I'm glad to say in Black Ops 2 there is none of that. But yeah, guys, I think that's all of it. I think I've covered most things. If you can think of anything else I have missed or haven't added, then please tell me in the comment section below. So yeah, my final opinion on this game, it was bad, but it had potential, I think. If so many things were fixed with it, it could have been a good game, but unfortunately it didn't end up that way. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this commentary, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye for now, and goodbye.